What's up, you guys? Deathcom1 here, bringing you a trailer analysis of Gotham Knights. I'll be looking through the gameplay trailer and basically just going through things that I noticed after watching the trailer multiple times. This is my first ever trailer analysis, so please don't expect anything super in-depth or anything crazy, but these are just my thoughts and things I noticed during the trailer. So let's get started.
Got about a dozen people frozen here. Need paramedics ASAP. All units, shootout in progress at Elliott Center.
Multiple accidents. Too many. We can't respond to them all. Where the hell is our backup?
Hi, I'm Patrick Redding, Creative Director on Gotham Knights. On behalf of the whole team at WB Games Montreal, I'm really honored to give you a quick look at our game.
So, right from the start, this road looks massive. Compared to Arkham Knight, it felt a little claustrophobic. Like trying to glide around the city was, like, in between the buildings was possible, but in my opinion it was difficult. So looking at this, there is a lot of room. There's a lot of room to glide. There's a lot of room to drive, and it makes me very excited for in between missions when you're just trying to get to where you're going. You can drive there, you can glide there, and it looks like it'll just be a lot of fun and should be pretty easy.
Elliott Center is covered in ice. Whatever's causing this is localized at the top.
We're going to look at a short clip from one of Gotham Knights' villain crimes in a pre-alpha build. This mission is halfway through the Mr. Freeze storyline.
Okay, he says halfway through the Mr. Freeze storyline. So I'm curious if this is a side mission where you are just doing tasks specifically related to Mr. Freeze, or if he's referring to maybe Mr. Freeze shows up multiple times throughout the main story. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really curious what exactly he meant by halfway through Mr. Freeze's storyline. So maybe it's not even a side mission. Maybe there are multiple fleshed out stories within this game. I'm not really sure, but it makes me very hopeful and excited for what we're going to get and how large of a game we're going to get.
And we're playing Batgirl a dozen or so hours into her character progression.
Okay, Batgirl, a dozen or so hours into her character progression. That makes me very excited because in any of the Arkham games, on average, you could play through the story in probably 8 to 10 hours maximum. If you really knew what you're doing, you could do it in 6. But, I mean, if you're just casually playing through, you could play through 8 to 10 hours. And here we have Batgirl. Her own character progression, he says, is about a dozen hours in. So we have at least 12 hours for Batgirl, which that leads me to believe we have even more for Robin, Red Hood, Nightwing. So my first impressions from what he is saying is that there is going to be a lot of content in this game, and it makes me very excited. Pop a little wheelie there. That's pretty
All
cool.
units at Elliott Center. Air support inbound. Hostiles opening fire on upper floors. Air support, can you do a fly around?
Freeze has recently returned to Gotham with a mysterious agenda that involves manipulating the weather to flash freeze the city.
We need a way to get through that ice.
An important goal for Gotham Knights was that players can play all of the game either solo or in 2-player co-op.
Okay, so this also has me curious because you can have co-op and you can have single player, but do you have a computer by your side throughout this mission then? Or is this going to be the exact same mission just with a partner? So are the levels going to scale? Are there going to be more enemies because I had a friend join me? Or is this just going to be the same exact mission, not any more difficult, it's just with a buddy? So I'm curious if Robin is always supposed to be in this Mr. Freeze mission, or if this is just because I had a pal join me, and it could be I could have had Red Hood or Nightwing join me, or if he's even a computer, could I have a computer join me? So I'm curious to see what happens with that.
Wants a fight, he'll get it.
Robin's learned how to access the Justice League satellite for short-range teleportation.
Okay, I am confused by this. So why is Robin singled out for learning to use the Justice League's teleportation? He has a cape. Just like Batgirl, he would be able to glide. It would make sense for Red Hood or Nightwing to need the teleportation. But we also saw in the cinematic story trailer, Red Hood uses the teleportation. So it makes me wonder if this is an ability that you can unlock, or if this is specific to certain characters. I'm really curious to see what they do with that. It seems difficult to kind of pilot yourself in the middle of the moment. Maybe it'll slow time around you when you're trying to aim where to go, but it seems like it'll be a really cool addition once you get the hang of it, but it'll also be maybe a little difficult to implement in the middle of a fight or something, or trying to maneuver around these Predator missions.
Meanwhile, Batgirl has mastered some more familiar techniques.
Okay, before we get into all this combat, first off, I really like this music. I do think it's a little loud, so I'm hoping maybe that might have just been a presentation thing, and not actual what the game is actually going to be like, because I feel like it kind of overpowers the rest of the scene. I am very nervous about the numbers over their head. That's the character level. And I'm nervous about the damage numbers coming out during hitting. It gives me bad flashbacks to level locking in Assassin's Creed Origins and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Because if these characters are always level 10, then that means I won't be able to access this area until I'm probably level 8, 9, 10. I really enjoy story, and I like being able to continuously do the story start to finish. So, in Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey, the issue was I would be playing through the story, and I would get to a mission where the next story mission was 6 or 7 levels ahead of me. And anybody who's played those games knows that's like 8 or 9 side missions just to get caught up to the story. So I feel like developers are bringing the player out of the immersion of the story in order to do these side missions, and I think it really impacts the delivery of the story. So it makes me really nervous seeing that the characters now have levels over their heads and they have health bars. So I do have more to say on that because of what the voiceover is. He says later on in this trailer. I have more to say on it, but for now, just keep that in mind, that it's making me nervous that they have levels, and some parts of the city might be locked off until you're 40 or 50 hours into the game. So, but I did enjoy seeing that knockout, just hopping on him, knocking him out. That was pretty cool. The music's so loud you could hardly hear.
And developed a few new ones of our own.
Hardly hear one of the criminals saying that Batgirl's here. It's like a cool ability of you got bats coming to swarm you, help you out a little bit.
Heard you're down there having some fun.
Fun's one word for it.
Just a heads up, the chopper's under orders.
I wonder if Montoya is the new police commissioner, since, again, in the cinematic trailer, it was revealed that Jim Gordon is dead. I'm curious if Montoya knows who Batgirl is, or if she's the police commissioner.
Hurry and find a way inside Elliott Center.
The GCPD chopper made that part easy.
I need to hear a little more of the voice acting to really make the judgment call, but
This doesn't look up to code.
so far I think it's just okay. The city just looks massive from there, and I hope there's a lot more map that we haven't seen.
If anyone asks, I meant to do that.
I won't say a word.
I think these outfits look really cool. I like the idea of
Tours were
Unlocking
still going
outfits.
on when Freeze came through.
unlocking outfits throughout the game. I think that would be pretty cool.
Gotham Knights is built to let players
Okay,
approach
so-
each challenge with their preferred.
We just saw the screen go from Batgirl to Robin, and I'm again curious, was that one player switching from one character to the other, or is this, for presentation purposes, switching from player 1 to player 2? I think it would be awesome if you could have computers join you and you could pick and choose who to fight as, who to bring with you. It would still be a lot of fun just to have Batgirl here, but it makes me feel like you're kind of losing a bit of the experience if you can only have one player there when you're single player. You need to have a buddy there in order to see the awesome interactions, dialogue, other things like that. So I'm really hoping that this can be a computer player and you can swap between both in the middle of the mission, but I guess we'll find out as the game draws closer.
preferred style and their preferred build.
I like this silent takedown here.
This will only take a second.
It's nice to see. So now you're swapping back. Cool knockout hit. Nobody really has guns. Typically when you enter a room like this in Arkham, you just hop down in the middle, everybody's just gonna start shooting at you. But this seems like a Predator room that doesn't have guns. So I wonder if that'll be consistent throughout the game, or if that's just for this mission because everybody has ice guns.
Dad, you're it.
And I know I'm comparing this a lot to Arkham, but there aren't really any other Batman games to compare this to. So that's just what my foundation is. I really enjoyed the Arkham games, so I'm going to be comparing this to the Arkham games a lot. I've also noticed there isn't any detective mode that they've used. I don't know if that was just to make the presentation look nice, because I think there are times in the Arkham games where detective mode could get overused and make the game completely easy.
Guaranteed they lead to Freeze.
So I think maybe it was for presentation purposes, but perhaps there isn't detective mode in this game. That would be interesting, and that would really shake up the Predator missions a lot.
Belfry, status.
Countless dead, and the temperature's still falling.
We need to stop this.
Seems
now.
like a useful update. Thank you, Alfred. Belfry.
wasn't kidding about this storm.
Almost there.
I like the grapple system staying.
I see the weather machine. Ready with the disruptor.
It's always a lot of fun just grappling around the city. I do like the character designs. I know they look cartoony compared to the Arkham series, but I think if they're going for a more lively, fun game, I think the character or the cartoony design is a good way to go.
Is that what you're calling it? You
Okay, see her eyes. She has the white eyes, so she could have detective mode. I feel like there is a detective mode in the game, but I think for the presentation they didn't use it because it's kind of cheap, in my opinion. I use it all the time in the Arkham games, but I still think it's kind of cheap. So I think it was a really good idea not including it in the presentation if it is in the game. If it's not in the game, obviously they couldn't use it.
don't want to be on the roof when this disruptor goes off. Trust me.
Irrelevant. I already have what I need. The storm has risen over Gotham. Nothing can stop it.
We'll see about that.
You cannot run from me!
An important element of Gotham Knights is that as the player increases in power and ability, their foes keep pace. So confronting a villain like Mr. Freeze can be a very different proposition at level 5 or at level 15.
Okay, so if you missed that, he just said when you level up, the enemies level up. So fighting Mr. Freeze at level 5 is going to be different from fighting Mr. Freeze at level 15. Because he said their abilities and their attacks will also become stronger as you become stronger. So that makes me hopeful because I understand it as when I'm level 5, Mr. Freeze will be level 5. When I'm level 15, Mr. Freeze will be level 15. And I like it that way because there's always a challenge in the game. You're never going to be strong enough to where you just plow through an entire room. You're always going to have a challenge. And I appreciate that. What makes me nervous is that in Assassin's Creed Origins and Odyssey, the enemies also leveled up when you did, but there were also enemies on other parts of the map that were already strong. So from level 1, you have areas that are level 5, areas that are level 15, areas that are level 40. So I'm curious is he saying all enemies level up as you level up, or just the enemies that you should be at the current moment will level up as you level up? So it makes me hopeful because his wording made it seem like everybody's going to be on pace with you. But also I'm still a little nervous because I'm still not entirely clear on that. Also, it makes me hopeful again because, like I said, I like story. I like being able to go where I want, when I want. And he said fighting Mr. Freeze is going to be different at level 5 than at level 15. So either we fight Mr. Freeze early on in his story progression, or we can fight him whenever we want. We could choose to fight him at level 5. We could choose to fight him at level 15. I prefer the latter, obviously, because that means I can go where I want, when I want. Kind of Legends of Zelda Breath of the Wild style, where the map is open up and you're free to go where you want. I really enjoy that style of game more so than needing to level up to go to a certain area. I think that really takes away from the gameplay and really breaks the immersion, honestly. Because if you're going to reuse character models, then why is this thug at level 5 so much weaker than this thug with the same character model at level 40? Like, they should all be the same strength throughout the whole game. Or they should pose the same threat to you throughout the whole game. So, yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
And not just in terms of stats, but in the kinds of attacks and defenses they bring to bear. And that was just a short peek at Gotham Knights. We're going to have more to show you in the future.
Okay. That logo looks really cool. I think that's pretty cool. Step into the Night 2021. They've been working on, or they had Arkham Origins come out in 2013. They had the Batgirl DLC for Arkham Knight come out in 2015. And as far as we know, this is what they've been working on ever since. And we still have another year to go, which is disappointing, but hopefully that means it'll be nice and polished when the game comes out and not a buggy disaster like Arkham Origins was. But anyway, that's all I have for this trailer. I am super pumped about this game. It's very different from the Arkham games. Just in terms of gameplay, I know it's going to be, we're still playing as the Batfamily. We're going to have all Batman's villains out there. But it's going to be a lot lighter toned. The Arkham games were pretty serious, in my opinion. I'm still looking forward to it, like really looking forward to it. I'm very excited for this game, but it is going to be different from Arkham, so that is a little sad for me, but I'm okay with the Arkham trilogy forever being the Arkham trilogy, plus Arkham Origins on the side. But anyway, again, I'm excited for the game. Yeah, I think the character designs are really cool. Again, the cartoony style, if you're going for a lighter tone game, the cartoony style is the way to go. I think that looks awesome. I think it meshes together really well. Really looking forward to seeing some gameplay for Nightwing and Red Hood. My personal favorite superhero is Nightwing, so love to see some of that action in there, and can't wait to see more of this game. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.